Character design is one of the many things that JoJo is known for, but I've never seen anyone take a close look at a JoJo character and really analyze their design and figure out why that character is designed in that specific way. Or maybe they have and I just haven't done my research. But anyway, since I love Giorno, I made an analysis of his design in my free time. It was originally an amino post, and I just edited the script a little bit to make it fit a video format, and so now here we are. Before we start, there are some things I want to mention. For one, this video will contain spoilers for JoJo Part 5. I could have made this video without spoilers, and that's probably what I should have done, but I am extra, and there were some specific things that I wanted to mention that I couldn't mention without talking about spoilers. The second thing is that I know that Giorno's manga design is technically the canon one, but for this video, I decided to analyze his anime design only since that's the one I'm most familiar with, and his anime design suits him way better in my opinion. The third thing is kind of a given, but I guess I'll mention it anyways. Please keep in mind everything stated here is my opinion and is based on my own interpretations. With all that out of the way, let's talk about my favorite JoJo character's design. First, I'll be talking about Giorno's most famous feature, his hair. A lot of people refer to Giorno's hair curls as donuts or bagels, but his hair is actually based on chocolate cornets. According to masterclass.com, chocolate cornets are a Japanese pastry consisting of a cone of yeasted dough surrounding a chocolate custard filling. And as we all know, Giorno is of Japanese descent. He was born with a Japanese first and last name, but he changed it to an Italian first and last name. So I think that Giorno's hair being inspired by a Japanese treat could just be a reference to his Japanese heritage. Giorno's outfit is mostly pink. It's important to note that the color pink is a mix between red and white. The color white is often associated with peace and divinity, while the color red is associated with strong emotions, not only anger but sometimes passion and boldness. These are all traits that Giorno possesses. The color pink itself symbolizes charm, politeness, sensitivity, tenderness, sweetness, femininity, and romance. Most of those words also suit Giorno very well. The only one I would say that doesn't fit is romance, since Giorno doesn't seem very interested in dating, even though he's quite popular with girls.
I promise you won't regret it. Pay for it.
How about no?
Can I come?
Now all of you just go away and leave me be.
Okay. Adamani, Giorno. Ciao now.
Girls that love me.
As for charm, Giorno's charm is one of my favorite things about him. He definitely got his charm from Dio. Giorno is quiet, but he has a lot of charm that draws people to him, very similarly to Ren Amamiya, the protagonist of Persona 5.
I don't know what it is, but there's something about Giorno that gives him the unique ability to charm almost anyone.
As for the tender and sensitive part, a lot of people don't really take the time to appreciate Giorno's gentleness, since he's very brutal towards his enemies and doesn't show much emotion. But Giorno is a very soft person, and I think one of the best examples of this is the way he treated the gang.
The virus was a part of his natural habitat, so he came into the world disease-free. Do you get what I'm saying now, amico?
Yes, that's brilliant!
As for the feminine part, this one doesn't really need much explaining. Pink is stereotypically a color that's associated with girls. Giorno is obviously more on the feminine side. His chest is almost completely exposed. He wears mostly pink and has long braided hair. Also, when he changed his name, Giorno changed his last name to Giovanna, which is the feminine form of Giovanni, which actually happens to be my name, fun fact. I don't think there's any specific reason for Araki making Giorno's last name feminine, but I think it could maybe reference the fact that Giorno was originally supposed to be female, but also Giorno could have just chosen Giovanna for his last name because it sounds more similar to Sciobana, his birth last name, than Giovanni. I think another reason why pink suits Giorno very well is because Giorno, as I mentioned before, is quite feminine presenting. This is never blatantly called out, and it just adds to Giorno's projection of confidence and how secure he is in himself. Giorno wearing pink, having long hair, and wearing this outfit could symbolize how he's confident in himself and doesn't care what other people think. A lot of people, myself included, forget that Part 5 takes place in 2001. During that time, society was still strict about gender roles and stuff like that, so Giorno walking around with braided hair, a pink suit, and a partially exposed chest could show that he doesn't care about fitting in or what other people think of him. Google also mentions that the color pink can represent inner peace and someone who's nurturing. One of my favorite things about Giorno is his inner strength. I have been through far less pain in my life than Giorno has, yet he still manages to be a strong-willed and kind person. He was unfortunately abused as a child, and often going through something as traumatic as that can make someone grow up to be not so great of a person. but for Giorno, it turned out to be the complete opposite. There are two types of people in the world: those who think I had to go through it, so you should too, and I had to go through it, so I'll make sure you never have to. When someone goes through a traumatic experience, they either become a perpetrator themselves or they manage to stay as a kind person, and Giorno is definitely that second type of person. He puts his life on the line to protect the gang even after he only just met them.
Giorno, you went above and beyond to save us. You have my eternal respect.
It's really incredible to see how good of a person Giorno is despite everything he's been through. And I'm not saying that it's surprising because I think everybody who goes through trauma turns out to be a dick. I'm only saying it's surprising to me because, like I said before, I've been through far less than Giorno has, yet I hold grudges against people. If someone treated me the way Fugo treated Giorno, I'm going to be so honest, I don't think I'd be willing to help them. Obviously, if it was like an exact situation as Giorno and Fugo had where Fugo's life was at risk, I would save them. But I mean, I wouldn't help them for small favors and stuff. Like if they needed an extra pencil or asked me for something, like money, I'd say no, fuck you, get lost, you treated me like shit, so you deserve nothing from me. And I'd feel good about rejecting them, feeling like they deserved it, because I'm a very petty person. But I know someone like Giorno wouldn't do that. As for the nurturing part, this may sound weird to say since Giorno was the youngest one in the gang, but Fugo, Misada, and Narancia have all admitted to seeing Giorno and Bucciarati as very similar people. And as we all know, Bruno is basically like a father figure to everyone in the gang. I'm not saying that they see Giorno as a father figure, I'm saying that they may see him as some kind of mentor, as a light to follow and someone to rely on. They just see him as an inspiring person for them to lean on.
There's something about him that I trust. He has an authenticity you can't put into words. You sprang into action, just like Bucciarati.
I'm finally starting to realize something about this Giorno Giovanna. He's a total rookie. But even so, when he says something will happen, it eventually comes to fruition. My determinazione was really Giorno's. It flooded my being without me even realizing it. It's like he superseded Bucciarati to become capo, like he was guiding my every move. How the hell does he do that?
Giorno! Wake up! Giorno! Giorno!
Hey, Narancia.
I know Abacchio would never want to admit this, but it was your decision-making that pulled us through this whole mess. I don't know where we'd even be without you. You've become our leader. There might actually be some hope for us yet, with you by our side. Come on, Giorno. Everyone's waiting.
So not exactly a father figure maybe, more of just a role model for them. That's all I mean. Something I don't think I've ever seen anyone point out about Giorno's design is the large heart design on his chest. This could be an over-exaggeration on my part, but this could symbolize the fact that Giorno is a very caring person and has a big heart. Also, the golden outline of the heart could also symbolize that Giorno has a heart of gold. Again, that could be a stretch, but that's the way I see it. Gold is obviously a very huge symbol in Part 5. The part itself is called Golden Wind, Giorno's stand is called Gold Experience, and the intro song is called Fighting Gold, so it makes sense for Giorno's outfit to have a substantial amount of gold on it. Also, the color gold can symbolize luxury, success, achievement, triumph, generosity, compassion, divinity, and power. All of that being used to describe Giorno is pretty self-explanatory, so I don't think I need to go into detail on how those words suit Giorno. As for the Ladybug emblems, here's my explanation as to why Giorno has them. The first reason is the fact that Giorno has the power to imbue things with life, and obviously ladybugs are living things. Also, ladybugs as a symbol stand for protection and healing. They also stand for good fortune and grace. After Giorno kills Popo and stages it to look like a suicide, and Bucciarati is promoted to capo, Mista's internal dialogue reveals that he sees Giorno as some kind of good luck charm, because everything seemingly started going well as soon as Giorno joined the team. Another thing ladybugs symbolize is rebirth, positive change, and resilience. For the rebirth part, it's almost like Giorno was reborn, since he completely abandoned his own self and changed his name to Giorno Giovanna. Also, the rebirth thing could reference how he technically brought Bruno back to life. As for the positive change, Giorno changed from a shy, insecure, and nervous person to somebody bold and confident. And his resilience is something that I've already talked about. I think the wings on Giorno's collar represent freedom. Giorno's childhood was very sad, he was very lonely when he was younger, and as I've mentioned before, lived in an abusive household. So I think the wings could represent Giorno finally being free of the dark times in his past. They could represent Giorno meeting his hero, which caused him to find himself in his inner strength, leaving his old self behind and becoming a new and different person. So that's it. That's all I was able to analyze for Giorno's design. In my opinion, Giorno is the best designed out of the JoJo's. His design is so unique and there's so much it reveals about his character. His design is simple, but it's clear that there was a lot of creativity and thought put into it. The same goes for Giorno's stand. I feel like it's very well designed and also suits him a lot as a character. And that's something I'll talk about in a future video, along with the rest of the gang and their stands and how they represent them as characters. But for now, I just wanted to make this quick little video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is kind of different from my usual content, and if you guys don't want to see videos like this anymore, please let me know because I can hold back. Golden Wind is just something I'm very passionate about. Well, I love JoJo in general, but Part 5 is my favorite, and I really love Giorno as a character. He's my favorite character in all of fiction, probably. So I really had fun making this post. Leave a like if you enjoyed, comment below what you guys think of these type of videos, and I'll see you in the next one.